Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining. This one is going to be answering your questions. And remember, there is more material available on the member page. For those of you who love Joshua's teachings, we are discussing texts from the Nag Hammadi library. Those are very powerful and important for anyone who is working to achieve the oneness with the divine. The first question: what would be some tips to tune out the noise of everyday life and quiet the mind to hear spirit, and when spirit is heard, how to tell the difference between ego? The shortest answer is in the meditation, not guided, silent. When you are in silence, between breaths, notice the presence within you. It is quiet like an observer. It is being, it is watching. It has a very quiet voice, a voice of being, so to speak. This may sound abstract, but when you experience it, it is undeniable. When you meditate in silence, your inner and everything else, the programmings, all kinds of voices, like you said, the noises, are also gonna try to get your attention. Whose attention? Your. And who is that you? That is the journey to discover, rediscover, and to remember your own self as the divine I am. In the silence, especially between the breaths, notice the nothingness. That's the hint. Within the nothingness, who is watching? Who is observing? And that all the noise and debris and all the questions that are trying to come in the way, that is the ego voice. Usually tries to make it complicated when it doesn't need to be, because it's easy. Anything else that is trying to blame, call you names, or say it's not gonna work, bring out insecurities, memories of hurt, pain, that's that ego voice. But even the ego voice doesn't need to be that extreme. It is only extreme to that point when it isn't disciplined. So while you are looking for that voice between the breaths, that presence of the divine within you, you will also be able to discipline your ego voice. That is the path of the chosen one. You're multitasking. It is not to brush it off, because it will always be there for as long as you are in this reality, and even others. So we're not gonna hurt the ego. We're not gonna try to push it forcefully. We will be disciplining it. That when you're meditating, when you're listening to the voice of God within you, it needs to learn to be quiet. And when you're back and you wish to give it some attention, then you do. Perceive the ego as the identity of that which you think you are. That identity has its own programmings, insecurities, conditioning. There's no one to blame. It happened. It's been collecting this baggage for many, many years, and many lifetimes, perhaps. It is different for each and every one of you. So from that perspective, feel compassionate to the ego. It isn't something to hate. It is something to raise, to teach. And that elevated awareness within you, the soul particle that is slowly descending to merge with that physical aspect of you, is going to learn at your pace, slow and steady. This awakening project is not something to rush. No one needs to rush it. Don't try to awaken overnight. It's not going to happen. Slowly, slowly, You will begin to get glimpses, flashbacks, feelings, sensations, and then those gifts of clairvoyance, clairaudience will begin to blossom. This doesn't mean that you've awakened. This means you are in the process, and this process will take this lifetime and much of the future. It isn't the end, it is a continuation. Disciplining your ego works very well when you're in the physical reality. So anytime that ego voice is bothering you, look at it as it's asking you to teach it when to be quiet, when to talk, when to warn, when to listen. When the ego is disciplined, it helps you get into the harmony state easier, so that next time you want to meditate, it will sit back and wait until you attend to it. The noises of everyday life are also the programmings and the egos of the everyday life. We share it as within so without. And many other people are also sharing similar traits of ego. It is in the energy, almost like in the air. With so much pollution, these programmings are like in the wind. So remain strong, and through prayer, as well as using sacred geometry to protect yourself and your energy field, let's say your own pyramid or a bubble of white light, however you want to call it, whichever color you prefer, that's yours. It may even change. But the faith in the fact that when you call on this energy to protect you, calling on it to be done, is what will help. It is by faith. You may exercise many practices, but if you don't believe, it won't help. It helps when you believe and you know it. You carry it within yourself as a knowing. And in order to do that, the relationship with it needs to develop. How do you develop relationship with that which you can't see? You feel it as much as possible in the silence, in the presence between breaths. Next question. How to help guide kids and adult children on the teachings and wisdom on your channel? On this channel, you hear the teachings and wisdom mostly from Joshua. He is also known as Jesus. Many of his teachings are universal. They are not owned by him, but they are actually the teachings of life. Not life as the norm we accept it here on this plane, but the universal flow of life. That energy, that circuit that holds all dimensions, planes, universes together, that one, that whole, that all, oneness, unity, carries those teachings. And there have been teachers who incarnated to remind us. Joshua is one of them. He used parables, stories, to help people. And many times he would teach children and say that when someone becomes like that, then they can enter the kingdom of God. What is the kingdom? What does it mean to become like a child? What is a child? It is someone who is very pure, who doesn't want to hurt, who doesn't need to take from another, who is full of joy and eagerness to learn more. Someone very curious, someone who wants to enjoy life. That's what he meant. When we grow up and become a part of this system, at least mentally, we start to worry about things that normally we wouldn't as children. That is the difficulty, to maintain that purity of mind, faith, and love for joy, the living force of life, while going through adult years of responsibility. Those are stages of learning as well. So as adults, we reflect when we see the younger generation. The younger generation already has it built in, but in order to bring it outward, much communication is needed. And the first thing is trust. See, children are very connected to the God essence, much stronger, without that noise and debris, comparing to the adults. This world is pushing them to not believe it, to brush it off, to forget to listen to the voice of intuition. And so by the time they reach the teenage years, they forget how to communicate telepathically. They don't understand the voice of the wind and other elements. They forget. But as children they do, and they also see energy, something that by the time the person reaches adulthood forgets. It goes all the way into the subconscious mind until and when and if the person is willing and wanting to remember. Then we call it awakening. But it isn't awakening, it is just the continuation. So the trust to establish with children that what they're seeing is not crazy, that it is safe for them to share this, whatever it is, the non-physical that they're experiencing. It is safe to share with those who are open. So in this world, you got to be very careful. Still, can you imagine? 2025 and we still need to be careful about this. So that trust, that's one. Number two, establishing through that trust ability to communicate, to elaborate on that which they see. But let's say they don't have anything to share and you want to convey to them the teachings. Then you do by using those parables that Joshua shared. You can find them in the Gospels that are included in the commonly known book, and then in the Nag Hammadi library as well. Those parables can be interpreted in different ways, depending on what you're going through in life, on different levels and different ages as well, and different cultures. The reason why is because those teachings are living. When something is living, you can apply it in various ways, in various times even. So just as those teachings were very important 2,000 years ago that he shared with his disciples, they are important even now, 2,000 later, with his disciples. Because we are the disciples. It is possible that you and others walked with him, or knew of him, or were there after him. They are recorded and preserved for you to read and remember. Next question. Some topic related to emotions and how it affects our body would be helpful. Yes, our physical body interacts with our emotions. Or you can call it the soul is reflecting what it needs through what the body is experiencing. And usually it is kind of like literal. If there is a blood sugar problem, it means that there is not enough sweetness, love, nurture in the person's life. For females, that nurture would be in the upper area of the body. Try to go back in your childhood and remember what events caused the feeling of lack of love, lack of nurture. That perhaps now in your adult years, it could translate into a loveless relationship, for example. Feet. Uncomfortable feelings of pain in feet, as well as knees, is fear to move forward. Whether moving to another area, moving from a relationship, from work, or just something new in life. Being suffocated by the sameness and knowing that new needs to be incorporated in life, but being afraid. The body will let you know. The hands, perhaps feeling unworthy to receive or giving too much. Back, depending on the upper, mid, or lower. Upper usually means too much responsibility. Mid could be from past lives as subconscious remembering being hurt in the back or being betrayed. Lower back, carrying that baggage or somebody else's baggage for too long. When the symptoms arise, it needs to be addressed. When it persists, of course, see a doctor. And every day you can help through meditation and energy work. It would also help to eliminate toxins from the body, organ cleansing, and remember staying hydrated with electrolytes. So a little bit of lemon in water or apple cider vinegar. Healthy eating. It is also taking the minerals that help the nervous system. Magnesium, potassium, calcium, zinc, vitamin D. Your guides, your higher self, communicates with you also by nudging at times. So if you notice the pain is mostly to the left, that could refer that you are dealing with something from the past of this life or past lives. If it is from the right side, it is something you're going through now. And again, through prayer and meditation, you will discover what it is. There is a trick. Try to change slightly things that you normally do during the day and see which triggers pop up. Those triggers will navigate and guide you, show you what is it that is giving you those pains. Slight changes as drinking from a different mug instead of coffee, drinking tea. Not sitting at that side of the table, but at the other side of the table. Changing to a different style of clothes, different makeup, hairstyle. It is different for everybody. Other things to help the back would be flipping the mattress or getting a special topper that would assist the back. Getting extra pillows, sleeping on the left side, placing one pillow between the knees and bending the knees while holding the other pillow. Or you can use a giant long pillow that is now created specifically to lay comfortably on the left side. You may also use crystals. Amethyst, rose quartz are wonderful to help you remind to be at peace. Frequently holding your back, massaging, and telling those cells that you approve of them, that you bless them. You can talk to them as we, with affirmations. We are okay, we are fine, we're at peace, while seeing the pressure basically dissolve and leave the back. Replenish with light. As we've done many times in the workshops, bless your food, your drinks with white light or any other color. As long as you believe that this is the healing frequency from the divine. Colors are frequencies, right? Bless your day, morning to night, night to morning. Bless your home, bless your spine, and if you feel that you have to see someone who specializes in it, check it out just to be on the safe side. I hope that was helpful. New questions, more questions are welcome. If you want a personalized program to work with me one-on-one, you're welcome to reach out. Whether it is mentoring, energy work, channeling your guides, crystal work, sacred geometry, or learning something that I can assist you with, you know how to reach me. Wishing everyone infinite blessings. Talk to you in the next video. Namaste.